I was 15 years old when I got my first electric guitar. It was magical. I loved playing it. I loved learning songs, licks, and then I learned the pentatonic scale, discovered that I could solo over things, and it was just an awesome time. Practice was really fun. I would always learn new things when practicing the guitar, but then something happened. What happened is that my guitar practice was becoming boring. I would play the same things over and over. I felt that I didn't really progress at the same rate that I progressed when I started playing. That's a normal thing, and that might be you today. And that becomes a problem if you don't fix it really quick, because then you get complacent in your practice. You don't progress, you don't enjoy the instrument, and some of us have been there for decades. In this video, I'm gonna teach you exactly what you should be practicing, and it always works. It's exciting, it's fun, and it can take as little as 5 minutes per day. Hello, my name is David, and I help guitar players express themselves on the instrument. So practice is one of those things that is really necessary in order to develop your skills. We all know that, but how do we do it in a fun way that is engaging? Well, this is how. There are 4 main elements that you need to hit on anytime you pick up the guitar to practice. ETTM, ear, technique, theory, and musicality. Now, those 4 elements don't need to be practiced in order. As a matter of fact, they shouldn't. They should all be blended together, but we're going to talk about those individually, and you'll get a better sense of how to implement those in your practice, even if you just have 5 minutes, and then I'm going to do that in real time for you. We're going to start with the ear component, which unfortunately is something that most of us guitar players tend to forget. We forget that because the guitar is a very tactile instrument. What I mean by that is that oftentimes when we play a solo, our fingers are moving along the scales we are comfortable with, pentatonic scales typically, and we know and trust that the scale is going to work. It's fine, but it doesn't really sound like you. You're not really expressing yourself. You're just letting your fingers go up and down the fretboard, playing the licks you know will work, and that's what I'm talking about. So it's a very tactile instrument, which is why we oftentimes forget that music comes from within. And our ear, to be more precise, our internal ear, needs to be engaged in practice. The internal ear is what allows you to hear things in your head. I'm talking about music, not those voices. You know what I'm talking about. No, what you're hearing in your head, you don't hear it externally. You hear it inside, comes from within, and it starts there. If you can learn how to decipher what is being said and translate that on the instrument, then your music is going to be a lot more personable. You're going to feel more fulfilled, and that's why you should always incorporate your ear in your practice session. And I'll show you exactly how it works after going through the 4 components. The second thing you should incorporate in your practice session is technique. You need to have an element of technique. Technique is basically anything that has to do with you touching your instrument. That's it. So it could be, how do I sit? How do I fret a note? How do I attack a note? How do I play fast? How do I play sweeping? All those things have to do with the physical aspect of using this instrument to translate the ideas that are in your head. So it starts with the ear, and then the technique will help you bring out those ideas on the instrument. The third component is theory. Theory has to do with understanding what you are playing. That can mean a lot of things. That could mean the study of scales, or it can mean the study of harmony, or anything that has to do with your brain, how you are understanding what is being played musically. Now, the theory component needs to be incorporated in your practice session, in your guitar practice, because if it's not, then you're just going through the motions and you can never really reuse what you discover in your practice session. And that discovery is really important, which brings me to the 4th component, which is musicality. Okay, musicality is kind of a loose term, but it has to do with your personality. How do you speak music? What makes the lick that you're playing you? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about here. Let's take a simple lick, this one for example. If I asked you to play that same exact lick, you couldn't, no matter how hard you try. Yes, you would hit the right notes, maybe the right rhythm, maybe even match the tone, yet there's that simple little nuance that is going to make it different. It's going to make it you. We're all unique. We all have our imperfections. I call these perfect imperfections. That's what makes you, you. So the musicality element is what allows you to get in touch with that personal touch. Whatever you play on the guitar should sound like you. And that comes with exploration. And the way that you figure that out is by exploring the different ideas that you are practicing over backing tracks or without a backing track. But just allow yourself the freedom to play something on the guitar that will sound like you. All right, so those are the 4 elements that are essential in a practice session so that you can progress as a guitar player, no matter which level you're at. Before I show you how to use those, it's important to understand that music is not a topic that you can approach like another topic. Most topics are learned with a progression. You're starting here, and then you go to point B, C, D, and there's a clear path in front of you. Unfortunately, or fortunately, music doesn't work like that. See, music being a language, it's a tool that allows you to express your ideas, and we're all unique and different. So there are a lot of ways to communicate ideas. So that's a cool thing too, because no matter where you're starting, no matter what you're working on, it's not a lost cause. As long as you use those 4 components that we talked about, ear, technique, theory, and musicality, that thing will serve its purpose eventually and lead you to other paths of discovery. And you know that you can never master music. It's not something to be mastered. It's a tool that allows you to explore stories, the world. What do you have to say? That being said, let's take a look at how we can incorporate these 4 different elements in our practice. So it looks like this. You've got your guitar, a sound that you like, and we're going to start with an idea. We need to start working on something. I don't know what. It could be a lick, a song. You know what? It's going to be this. So here I'm going to try to translate what I'm saying on the guitar. Now, if I want, I could go a little bit further with the technique, maybe try to play this in different areas of the fretboard, making it a little more comfortable, maybe adding some bends or slides, and all those things are incorporated in my technique element. I'm touching these elements in sequence here in this video just so that you understand what these 4 elements look like. But remember that when you're actually practicing, everything can be organic, blended together, and that's really important to keep in mind. The next point is theory. One way to doing this is to take the idea. So here I'm on the 3rd string, frets 11, 9, 8. And then at some point I have the 4th string, fret 11. That fragment of a scale, I kind of recognize this being part of this other scale. So how do I know this? Well, I know it because I have played this before, that scale. And by the way, if you're not there yet, that is completely okay. Go back to the lick you played and use your inner ear a little bit more to try to fill in the blanks, the missing notes. Once you associated your lick with a scale, that'll give you a ton of useful information, such as which chords can I play in the back of this lick. Now, a chord is 2 or more notes played at the same time. These notes should be extracted from the scale that we figured out. That's your answer right there. You can take that scale, extract from it some chords, just play some of the notes of the scale, maybe this one, this one, this one, this one. Here's a chord, and you could play that lick over it. I don't know if you realize what happened there, but I started figuring out chords, and then I went a different route. Why? Because I automatically went into the 4th element, which is musicality, creativity, figuring out things on your own, exploring the fretboard. Always allow yourself some time to do that. I really think that if you keep in mind that framework, ETTM, ear, technique, theory, musicality, in your practice, it's really going to help you progress on the guitar. I recommend you watch this video in which I'm going to give you some very practical exercises that touch on those 4 elements of practice. I'll meet you right there. Do this with your guitar. It really will help. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll meet you right here. Thanks for watching. Practice well.